Welcome to the Real Retirees of New Jersey, powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. Randy and Peggy Fisher want to help you retire once and retire right. Get more information at therealretireesofnewjersey.com. They never throw the first punch, but they're always a knockout.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. But most importantly, thanks for listening. This is the Real Retirees of New Jersey podcast with Peggy and Randy Fisher. It's all powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. You can get more when you visit therealretireesofnewjersey.com. You can find that and all the information here in the show notes. My name is Mark Owens. Now, let's get to the show. It's good to hear your voice because you are all sun-kissed, a little sunburnt, but refreshed and relaxed. How are y'all doing this weekend?
We're doing great, Mark Owens. We're ready to go now.
I'm not ready to go anywhere. I'm ready to go back. Go back. My bones hurt.
To fill us in, for those that don't know, where were you? What was the inspiration for this trip? A little tropical.
So the inspiration for the trip is it's January. So every January, we try to go somewhere warm.
Yep. My inspiration is the day after tomorrow.
Being in New Jersey, it's always cold, first week of January. And we usually like to plan like a nice Sandals trip to some beautiful island. So this time it was Antigua.
Did you do that thing that we all do when we go on vacation? You start scouting out real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did that.
I do it every time.
He does do that.
Yeah.
In fact, our last Sandals trip when we were in St. Lucia, he did have some maps out of where we were going to move in our retirement. Isn't that great?
You were telling me off the air. Of course, this trip is for you after the first of the year. You get the holidays out of the way just to kind of reset, relax, get ready for a big 2025. But you unintentionally did a little work on this trip.
Yeah, it was so amazing to Randy and I. Sandals is for couples only, right? And the age group that was there to this Sandals in Antigua was incredible. It was, anyone from basically honeymooners, right? All the way up to, retirees in wheelchairs and some canes we saw this time, which to me was a beautiful thing because I said to Randy, in the business that we're in, it's incredible that people who are older in life and now are retired are enjoying the way that they should be.
Yeah. On
an island, 83 degrees, on a beach, at the pool, having a cocktail and having some beautiful meals. This is, for some retirees, this is what they plan for and what we plan to help them do.
It was a whole different group, right?
Yeah, it was.
When we first started going, it was like we were the young ones and then there was older people there.
Yeah.
Then the last, I would say 6 years or so, we started to be like the middle of the crowd. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And looking around, you're like, wow, those people are young. And
yeah.
Then I actually felt a little bit on the older side. This time we went away and I was like,
we felt young.
We felt young.
We were the 20-year-olds this trip.
See, it's in that phase where the old people think you're young and the young people think you're old.
Yes.
Well, I also think that it had to do with the economy.
Yeah.
Because I think if you looked around from the spectrum of who was there, it was the people who had money or had planned to be there.
Right. And kept the plan.
And we talked to a lot of these people, and it was one of these things where they go away every 3 months, every 4 months. And it's planned into their retirement plan, knowing that they've already have a target date for the next one.
Yes, it was fantastic.
Where in years past, when people had a carefree attitude or unlimited amount of income or discretionary money that they had to do something with, we had a whole bunch of a younger crowd at those places that we would normally see. And it was a whim. It was, hey, what are you here for? I just needed something to do, or, it was time to get away.
Right. Or mostly honeymooners,
Yeah. Well, that's always for, different story.
Yeah.
But this time it was more like, I would literally attribute 7 out of 10 people, maybe more.
Older crowd.
It was all older crowd, and it was all, this is what we plan to do, and we're going to come back in such and such number of months from now or go to a different one.
Yeah.
When they found out what you did and how you serve the community and the surrounding area, real quick, 908-844-8337, talking about creating strategies so that you can live your best life, whether you're in the go-go, the slow-go, or the no-go years. When they found out what you did they just come to you with questions about, their Social Security and their pensions?
It went from a vacation to a work day.
Yeah, no, it went from, where are you planning your next vacation? And then when you talk about, hey, so, what do you do for a living? And we said, financial planning. Oh, and then the husband would go grab the wife. Wait, let me grab my wife a minute. And then, and then our conversations in the pool or the jacuzzi or the beach turned into, well, what should I do with this? And what do you think of this? And
how do I create this?
So then it turned into a little bit of a work vacation, which was nice.
I got to go.
All right, so you can join the team from Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. Their next seminar is coming up in Antigua. We're excited to be joining that.
That is perfect. I love it.
I never thought about that. That's
That
a
is
great
fantastic.
idea.
Yes, Randy. That is the next.
Write that down.
That's the next workshop.
908-844-8337. And we say it every weekend here on The Real Retirees of New Jersey. If you have questions, just like Peggy and Randy Fisher, they're trying to enjoy their vacations, but they're talking about retirement strategies with complete strangers, and they do it with passion because this is what they love to do. We invite you to call at any time, 908-844-8337 to help build income for these moments in retirement. You had a good conversation with somebody who was retired, but they weren't happy in their retirement.
Yeah, so it was interesting. We were in the jacuzzi at one point, talking about how we were financial advisors. Seminar, yes. We were at our seminar. And, they said, it's so funny. We were just talking, it's the start of the new year. What do people talk about? Should I maybe get that a second opinion? Saying, well, what's the reason why I needed a second opinion too is, and we hear this is the number one reason always, well, our current advisor isn't talking to us, hasn't reached out to us, hasn't asked us, hey, what's the plan for the next year? And that's where my number one under their door and said, hey, call us for the second opinion. We'd love to help.
Our cards aren't waterproof.
Yeah.
So
we need to that's another thing for the financial advisors out there. We need to get waterproof business cards.
Get them on plastic.
Did you take business cards with you?
We always do.
Yeah, of course.
We never stopped working.
Yeah.
I had my laptop open. I had calls coming in and, you fit it in.
Did you at least get to enjoy a little bit of your vacation in between work?
Sure.
Oh, we definitely enjoyed our vacation.
You know me. I don't have any downtime, so it doesn't matter to me. I just like it because it was sunny.
Yeah.
So.
Sunny, the beach, the water was crystal clear. You could see straight down. It was amazing. It really was. Fantastic time.
908-844-8337. I'm so glad you had a good time. But, if I've learned anything that, A, you never stop working, and B, one of your goals is to help build retirement plans, retirement strategies to fit everybody's needs. Because there's somebody listening right now that, let's be honest, getting on an airplane and flying, to the beach sounds miserable. There's somebody right now listening that says, you know what I want to do? I want to sit on my front porch, have a Mai Tai, and spend time with the grandkids. And you can build plans for people who want that.
Yes,
if
absolutely.
you lived in Antigua.
Yeah. No, listen, and that's a great point, Mark, because you know what? To someone, what is retirement to them, right? To one person, retirement is going to a beach every 3 months. To someone else, it's planning, little ventures with grandkids. For someone else, it's being at home and maybe, putzing around your house and doing whatever you want to do, and maybe hitting a vacation a little bit here or there for a weekend or whatever. Everybody's retirement is different, but the point being is we will help you get there. However that may be, we will help with strategies to make sure you can get to that place where you want to go when you do hit that last phase of retirement.
Yep. Sure. As we were coming into the show this weekend, we heard Randy say, income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement, and it's all about building income. NBA Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal, he is also a champion of financial literacy. He has a new podcast. It's called The Break Room, where he talks about money management. And recently, he explained his greatest investment.
I used to see this rich guy, really rich, older, 80, old Rolls Royce, and I asked him, I said, how? And he taught me a word I never heard. Yeah, Shaq, you need to invest in an annuity. And I never knew what it was. And I looked it up because I was making so much money from commercials and all that, I didn't know what to do with it. And he's like, yeah, all this money you're making, if you put it away, you can invest it and you can start collecting at 50, 60, and 70. So that was my greatest investment.
Peggy, Rain, it feels like we talk about annuities almost every weekend here on The Real Retirees of New Jersey, but to have Shaq's endorsement behind it?
Yeah, right?
That says something about the power of an annuity.
Send him a check.
Yes, exactly. Go Shaq. But it's true. I mean, people love to poo-poo annuities, but most of the people who do that,
they don't understand them.
They have no idea what an annuity does, right? That's true. That's the number one reason. They don't know what an annuity is, or they hear from someone saying, oh, an annuity is something bad, but why? And then they don't have the answer to that. We always hear that.
If you explain an annuity without using the word annuity, everybody wants one.
Yeah. And just like he said, he is investing some of his money for later on down the road to have a income payment every single month for the rest of his life. Doesn't that sound good?
Change the word to personal pension.
Right. Or Social Security. Think of it like that. It's money that you know that you're going to have every month for the rest of your life.
Paycheck.
Till you die. Right.
Paycheck. That's the difference.
Yeah,
Do you want a
absolutely.
paycheck or do you want a play check?
Yeah.
Why is there so much misconceptions about annuities when you have this initial conversation? Talk to me like I've never heard of one before. What is it involved? How can it benefit me?
it's all hearsay, right? It's folklore. It's who had one in the past and they heard from their friends, mothers, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, real estate agent that it was a bad thing. It's a bad thing because they don't understand it. And what they don't understand about it is it's literally a contractual obligation between a person
and an insurance company.
Right.
Right.
Insurance companies, people don't realize this. They're the biggest, baddest, most financially stable positions on planet Earth. That's a fact. Look it up. And they have more money than they know what to do with. The good thing about it is they're very good stewards of their money and other people's monies. So all pension plans and all these things that are out there are built off of the possibility of creating a lifetime income stream.
Right.
Now, when you retire, what is one thing that you want other than health and longevity?
You want a paycheck.
You want a paycheck.
Yep, every month.
You want stability in your monthly income. You want money coming through the door. You can have an unlimited amount of assets, and I've met people that have such large values of assets, ridiculous amounts of assets. They're afraid to spend it because they're afraid of running out of it. If they didn't have, and those are people that literally don't have successful income plans. They have sporadic income plans. They take money out when they need it.
Right.
So that's when they're very fearful of running out of the money because they don't know that it's always going to show up. So getting back to your first question, Mark, is what is an annuity? An annuity is literally a contractual obligation between an insurance company and a person. And what that does is it allows them to return money to them for a period of time or their life. So a person gives money to a company. The company holds on to it for a period of time. It accrues interest or grows. And then there comes a time where they have to give it back.
Right.
And they give it back in either a period called a period certain, which is, let's say, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever you like, or for your lifetime, or even for your spouse's lifetime as a survivor, right? So I can have an income set up where I can have money coming in my door, knowing that, God forbid, I passed away, and, nothing's ever going to replace me, right, Peg?
That's right. That's correct, honey.
Nothing.
That is correct. Nothing.
But if, God forbid, I didn't open my eyes one day and money kept coming in and I passed away, money's going to continue on to Peggy. Mm-hmm. And that happens all the time where people actually make mistakes in the election of what they actually choose when they retire from a traditional pension plan. And we see this all the time where someone passes away and then we get together with someone trying to pick up the pieces. And the wife says, well, this is what my husband had, and I'm expecting this money to continue. And we have to release the bad news to them saying, well, that's not what your husband and yourself picked. And obviously they didn't do planning with us, but they now found out that the income's not continuing because they actually picked a single life option.
Right.
Right. So there are survivor options to this. And that's something that you want to make sure that you pick correctly and make sure that your income plan associates those, time horizons with what you're trying to accomplish. It doesn't mean that a survivor is the way to go always. It means that that is an option. If you have enough assets to do what we call laddering, you can ladder your income over periods of time. And some of it can be for survivor benefit, and some of it can be to maximize the amount of income in which you actually have while you're alive. So that's what an annuity really does. Is it basically creates a steady stream of income that you cannot outlive.
Which is amazing. It's an amazing thing. Now, people talk about criticisms of the annuities, which would be because you do have to hold your money for a certain period of time. Okay.
There's always a give and a get.
That's right. So the insurance company is holding your money for a specific period of time, usually up to 10 years. But remember, that money is being held and you're not being taxed on it, which
it's also not illiquid. That's another fallacy where people think, well, oh my gosh, the company, I can't touch my money for 10 years.
That's right. So most companies do allow you to take liquidity up to 10% free for the year, right?
So let's compare something, because what you want to make sure you understand is you're not comparing an annuity to the stock market. You're not comparing it to stock. Let me go back one step. Money has three properties. So you have liquidity, you have growth, right? And then you have guarantees.
Yep.
You can't get all three principles in one particular product,
yep.
Right? Let's just do a little exercise. If I wanted it to be totally liquid and 100% guaranteed, I pick a money market account.
Right.
But what am I not making? Much money.
That's right.
Right? If I want it to be totally liquid, but have an opportunity to go to the moon, what am I picking? Stocks.
Yes.
Right? I have an unlimited upside possibility, but what do I also have?
Downside.
Well, I have zero guarantee.
Right.
So there has to be a happy medium in between. There's a give and a take to what you're receiving, right?
That's right.
So let's go back to the liquidity feature, because that's really where some people get hung up on. It's not so much the guarantee and it's not so much the growth, it's the liquidity. If I put my money in a certificate of deposit, you know how much liquidity they have?
Zero.
It's zero.
Right.
I have no liquidity.
Right.
If I break the CD, I get my money back and I have a 3-month penalty interest, but they don't penalize my principal.
Right.
So they'll retain at least 3 months of interest. But it's illiquid. So if I put money in a 5-year CD or a 3-year CD, how much money can I touch?
You can't.
Zero.
Right.
If I put money in a 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, 10-year annuity, I can get 10%,
Every
sometimes
year.
more, but 10% of the total account value for the most part.
With no penalty.
No penalty.
Right.
No questions asked.
Correct.
Anytime I wanted it.
Right.
So it has liquidity features to it. Now, here's the downside. If I have $100,000 and I took 10% out, I just spent $10,000. What do I have left? 90%.
Right.
Who wants to continue to go down 10% each year? Not really, right?
Right.
So you have to monitor that. Do I take out 4%, 3%, 6%, whatever it may be? But I'm not going to take out the maximum unless something happens. Now, everybody says, well, what if there's an emergency? If there's an emergency, the only thing that matters is the emergency.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And most times with annuity companies is if there is an emergency for a health crisis, death, or something else,
And you have a note signed by a doctor.
for the most part, you can get 100% of your money.
Yeah.
But if you want to play cards with your guy friends on Tuesday night and drink beer and smoke cigars,
Is that what the
and you want 100% of the money out of your annuity,
Then you're gonna have a surrender
You're going to pay a penalty, right? And the penalty is there. Let me make sure you understand this. It's a penalty because what they're trying to avoid is a run on the bank.
Right.
What they don't want is everybody to go access all the monies at the same time.
That's right.
They want you to think about it, create a hurdle as to why you really need these monies.
Yeah.
What are you giving up? You're getting security, you're getting possibility of income, and you're getting guarantees.
And no downside.
No downside, but you're giving up 100% access.
Right.
It's still yours. It's all your money.
And you can
You're
definitely
just giving up
access
100%
to 10%.
access.
Right.
Well, you mentioned something a couple of seconds ago about the annuities and that you put the money in there and you can't touch it. Like it grows, it's your money, but it continues to grow and you don't have access to it. That's not necessarily a bad thing because kind of out of sight, out of mind as it continues to grow. And so it's there when I need it. And maybe I've not forgotten about it, but it's like, oh, good. I wasn't able to mess with it. I wasn't a way to chip away at it because it just continues to grow as a source of income.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And like we said, but always remember, it's not 100% that you can't touch. Most companies that we do deal with, it is you're allowed up to 10% a year free. That's penalty free. So you don't have any penalties on it. So just remember that as well. Absolutely.
And why do they do that? Number one is the reason why they're doing that is because the longer that they can hold your money, just like a bank or any other institution, the more money in which they can make.
That's right.
There are no fees and costs associated with most of, and I say most of, call our office, call the number. We can give you the statistics and the details and everything else, 908-844-8337 for each individual corporation. But when we talk about generalities, when we look at fixed annuities, income annuities, and fixed indexed annuities, most of them on the basic chassis have zero fees, costs, and charges.
Yes, most of the ones that we do use for people do not have any fees, costs, and charges. And a nice thing too is on a lot of them, they'll give you a bonus as an enticement to, take an annuity, one of the different annuities. Yep.
So equivalent to a certificate of deposit where there's no fee, cost, or charge. Those are the type of instruments in which you're comparing to an annuity. So we're not comparing an annuity to a mutual fund. You're not comparing an annuity to a stock portfolio. You're not comparing an annuity to a 401k plan, which is basically a mixture of equities and bonds. Mm-hmm. You're comparing annuities to a certificate of deposit, and the interest in which you're receiving needs to be comparable. If you look at A and B and you compare bananas and apples, annuities and life insurance corporations are going to basically outpace the banks, period. I mean, historically, look it up. There's oodles and oodles and oodles of information that's out there that shows you that. So in interest rate environments that are low, you're going to collect a higher rate of return most of the time in an annuity versus a bank, right? Or a certificate of deposit or savings vehicle. Mm-hmm. The same thing. When interest rates start to go up, if the interest rates are higher, you're going to get a better rate of return. But the fact of the matter is, it's not going to compete with the stock market.
No, absolutely not.
Right? It's supposed to get a moderate, consistent rate of return. What is that? someplace between 3 and 5%.
That's right. And most of our clients, this is just one tool in the toolbox.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Not for everything.
This is not, we're putting all the money into this one thing. For most of our clients here, that's just one tool in the toolbox to help you out in your retirement planning.
Could you collect more interest? Sure you can. Mm-hmm. Could you collect less interest? Yes. Could you ever lose any money? No.
Right.
You can never lose any money.
And people do love that, especially people with our clients who, let's say that this annuity is their only nest egg and they were with us, 10 years ago, have kept this annuity for 10 years and now they're retired. They all say the same thing. Thank God we put it into that annuity. Now we know we can take this income stream. We saved our money. We didn't lose anything in that over 10 years. You're not losing anything. We had no fees, cost, charges. We accumulated that money and now we can use that money just like a Social Security payment. Here comes another payment for you that you feel great about, right?
Yeah.
Give me your hot tub pitch, your elevator sentence. If I'm sitting with you in the hot tub at Sandals and I say to you, describe an annuity to me in the most simplistic terms. For those to get caught up with us here this weekend on the Real Retirees of New Jersey, how would you explain an annuity?
No, wouldn't it just be wonderful to put your money into something that when you go to retire, you are going to have a payout for the rest of your life until you die? It's fantastic, Creating
a personal pension plan.
Exactly.
There it is.
Essentially, there it is. A personal pension plan. It's that simple. I mean, is it for everybody? No.
Nope.
But this is what an annuity is for. It's for the people who have a moderate amount of assets that don't have an exorbitant amount of assets to create mistakes or to live after the mistake in which they've made in a portfolio.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's for people who don't like to take risk and they like steady guarantees.
That's correct.
It's for people that do not like to pay fees, costs, charges, and expenses, and they want to know that their money is going to outlive them.
Yes.
That they're not going to outlive their money.
Correct.
So if you're in that category where you're more of a conservative person, you just don't like paying fees, costs, or charges, and you want a steady stream of income,
yeah,
an annuity is the way to go. Call it whatever you'd like.
But give us a call. Yeah. Well, we can go over all of it with you at 908-844-8337.
And you don't have to have Shaq's amount of money.
No, you definitely do not. We have people in annuities for all different amounts, from $25,000 up to millions.
There it is.
Yeah.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Investment advisor services offered through Artemis Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Artemis Wealth Advisors is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Randolph A. Fisher, insurance license number 9616074, and Liberty Financial Group, LLC, and Peggy Fisher, national license number 189-42003 and 570-5833.